You can also listen to us on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/The Clock Cleaners.
Hello and welcome to the Clock Cleaners podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Keith.
And today we'll be recapping WWE Battleground.
Yeah, geez, it was even hard to get it out of your mouth.
Yeah, I know.
Not a very good pay-per-view.
No.
Booking-wise.
Yeah, the wrestling was fine, actually. If you took away the
endings?
the endings of the matches, the pay-per-view was actually pretty good.
Well,
which is kind of funny.
Yeah, but I mean, most of the time the wrestling is always pretty good.
Yeah, it's more of the confusing booking, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you have so much talent these days that it's hard for matches to be unwatchable.
That's true. You're not having any Hulk Hogan matches or anything.
True. Fair enough.
Hit him with the leg drop.
That'll do it.
That'll get you over.
So yeah, we started off the pre-show with Aiden English versus Ty Dillinger. So we both thought that Ty was gonna easily win this one, but that was not the case.
Well, there's no reason for him to lose, but I guess they felt bad for Aiden English.
I know. Well, I kind of had a feeling that he was gonna lose when they actually let Aiden English do his entire spiel.
Oh, he actually sang?
Yep.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. But I guess they don't want to bury him too much.
Probably
if they have
not.
an idea of, or something, some kind of plan for him.
Don't use that word.
Idea?
No, just idea in general. With WWE.
But I guess that's true.
Generally never good.
Yeah, they kind of...
And it doesn't go anywhere.
That's true. They kind of just throw things and hope it sticks.
Yeah, their lower mid-card just very poor decisions.
Well, it's because they focus all their efforts on the main event scene.
Yep. But yeah, I don't even remember what move he won it with, to be honest.
I don't even know of any moves that Aiden English does.
Oh, you mean because he's never won by himself?
It's
Besides in a DQ with
I'm not
Randy
even
Orton?
sure he's ever really won a match to begin with.
With the Vaudevillains?
Yeah.
They were tag champs in NXT.
Not on the main roster.
They might have stole a victory from the New Day when they were feuding with him.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Either way.
Whatever. Yeah, so Aiden English wins.
Woo!
Yep. That's not going anywhere.
Nope.
But so to kick off the show was the New Day versus the Usos, which I think it's pretty safe to say that most people felt that this was the best match of the night.
Yeah, it definitely was. There was a whole lot of near falls going on.
Back and forth. Yeah.
Xavier Woods.
Oh yeah, let's
by far the most impressive in this match.
Yeah. So Big E was actually the one that was not in the match,
which is different.
Yeah.
I have no problem with it. Right before the brand split, before we started doing this, obviously, I had said that it'd be nice if they gave Xavier some more time.
Yeah.
Because he had a match against, I think, AJ Styles.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember that one.
And I'm like, they really need to kind of just showcase him more because he's really talented. He's just never the one who's in the tag matches.
He's usually always the one to sit out.
Especially on pay-per-view defenses and stuff or when they're going for the title. But he was very good in this match.
Yeah. What the Usos hit what'd they hit? Their finisher, right? On Xavier, and he kicked out?
Well,
or was that on Kofi?
Well, it wasn't really... I don't know if it's technically their finisher. It's just one of them went for a splash off the top.
Yeah.
Because
I thought they usually finished
the
match.
It's not really a team finisher. It's just more like a team combination.
Fair enough.
So
I like that one spot where Xavier was jumping off the rope and he got super kicked.
Yeah, he was going for an elbow drop and got super kicked.
Yeah, it was just perfectly placed.
Yeah. Obviously it wasn't a believable spot in terms of logic, but it was cool.
But he did make that elbow drop for the win.
Oh, yeah, because Kofi hit the Trouble in Paradise, and then Xavier hit the flying elbow, which is a very old-school move.
Yeah.
And they're the new tag team champions.
Yeah. A little surprising. Even though I did pick them, it was still a little bit of surprise.
Well, yeah, because, on a B pay-per-view like this, you never really expect that many title changes.
No.
But yeah, like we said with Xavier being the big part of this match, there was a point in time where the Usos double power bombed Kofi on the outside, so he was out for a good plus minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it was literally just Xavier trying to fend off and almost successfully fending off the Usos for that amount of time.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a very good showing on both teams' parts because the Usos showed that they can be very aggressive still, and they don't need to. Well, they didn't win, but they don't really need to have underhanded tactics.
Oh yeah, no, that finish could have gone either way, and it would have been fine.
There was a point in time where the Usos had knocked out Kofi and Xavier. And one of the Usos throws Xavier back into the ring. This was right after that powerbomb.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So the ref's at like 6. The Usos are like, it's done. And then they throw him back into the ring anyway. So basically, since they lost, you can kind of blame the fact that they lost the titles on that stupid decision.
They weren't smart champions.
It's true. I thought the baby faces were supposed to be the idiots.
Right, yes.
But, it was a good match either way. Yeah. Even if that one part didn't make any sense.
True. Up next, we had Shinsuke versus Baron Corbin, which was it was hyped up a lot. Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe I was expecting too much out of this match. I was hoping.
Yeah. Well, like I said, there was a lot of hype, a lot of potential.
Right, and you never saw them really face off outside of, the Money in the Bank and stuff like that.
It's because they basically just kept on attacking each other. Yeah. Which kind of actually makes sense, the finish of this match, when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not good for the feud, but it's consistent with what they've been doing.
Yeah.
But before we get to the finish, basically, the match started off with the two of them kind of playing mind games with each other, trying to
go outside the ring, and the other one would chase him out, and
and they switch positions and whatever.
Yes.
And then it was pretty much Corbin at some point gets the upper hand and just beats the ever living crap out of Shinsuke. Yeah. So the large majority of the match was Corbin just beating up on Shinsuke.
And then Shinsuke started getting some kicks in and stuff like that, and there was a point right before the finish where Corbin was just dead weight on the ground.
Yeah, because he had knocked him out, and he was going to go for the Kinshasa.
Well, no, he kicked him, I think, in the
back of the neck.
Yeah, but he kicked him before that, too, when he went down, and then he hit him in the back of the neck.
Yeah. So he's going for the Kinshasa, but Corbin won't get up. Mm-hmm. So he goes to pick him up and tries an exploder suplex, and
Corbin blows him.
Yeah, just
kicks him between the legs.
Yeah. So that kind of was just like an abrupt ending to a match that was kind of built up as more.
Yeah, so I'm guessing this is just going to continue.
Yeah. If it does, it'd be cool if they put their SummerSlam match for the briefcase.
Yeah. Well, I think that would be the only way it would make sense on the card anyway.
And especially because Corbin's doing the big, I have this contract.
Right.
I'm the man kind of deal.
So how would you book that one?
That one?
Yeah.
Oh, it's pretty easy. Just have Shinsuke overpower him.
And win?
Yeah.
The briefcase?
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense if you're going to stick with heel champions.
Yeah, I just don't know if... I wonder how their view of Shinsuke is right now, since a lot of his matches have kind of been underwhelming.
Yeah, they really haven't been using him well, and I don't know if this is... I'm assuming it's not him, but his matches have been very lackluster.
No, but I mean, like I said, they've been taming him down, too.
Yeah,
so it's not working his style normally,
but...
I guess time will tell.
It's true.
Yeah.
They give him all the polish of someone they don't want to make a big star.
Right,
but
yeah.
At the same time, he's not doing a whole lot of like that, the stuff that he did in NXT.
It's true.
So it's hard for a casual fan to get behind someone who they don't quite know.
Right.
And hasn't really given them a reason to believe in them.
Makes sense.
But
makes sense.
Whatever.
Up next, we had the Fatal 5-Way women's match for the #1 contender to face Naomi at SummerSlam.
Yes, and they finally did the entrances correctly. And that because when they did the Money in the Bank matches and because they had a match like this a couple pay-per-views before, where they had, I think it was the heels come out. No, it was Becky and Charlotte came out first too, and then the heels follow after them.
Yeah, no.
Whereas what they should have done is what they did this time, where they came out Becky first, getting the crowd all hyped up. then the 3 heels,
and then
Charlotte. There's the best way to have them.
To bookend it.
I know this is a silly thing to have a gripe with, but there's logical ways.
We're
to do
wrestling fans. We're always going to have silly gripes with things.
I guess that's true.
It's pretty much all based on personal preference.
That's true. But for me, that's the most logical way to do it.
No, that makes sense. But yeah, I thought this was a decent match overall.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like with a couple of the other matches on this pay-per-view, the ending of the match was the most head-scratching and aggravating part of it.
I just want to bring this up just because it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know what they're doing with it, but having Naomi on commentary,
that was a terrible idea.
Feel like they just want to get her entrance out there. They're like, "Oh, we have a champion, guys. We just want to make sure you know about her."
I understand why they wanted her on the show because she's the champion, but she should have just had a separate title defense.
Something.
And I know because you could have very easily made it a fatal 4-way and have her face Becky or Charlotte.
Yeah, you could have.
It would have been so easy to do that.
Well, especially after the outcome. Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the beginning of this match, it seemed very obvious that Tamina and Lana were working together,
which was been shown for the last 2 or 3 weeks at least.
I'm gonna guess that they're gonna do something with that going forward. Oh! Before we actually get into this match, when I saw that Naomi was coming out for the commentary, I'm like, okay, here's what's gonna happen. A face is gonna win, and then she's gonna congratulate them.
Then they're gonna turn.
No. And then Carmella is gonna come out and cash in her briefcase. Yeah. This way, it's gonna be Becky or Charlotte versus Carmella at SummerSlam. That's what I thought was going to happen, but obviously that didn't happen. But, but like I said,
worked.
Lana and Tamina were working together. Mm-hmm. Every time Lana found herself in trouble, Tamina just showed up out of nowhere with a super kick. So there's a lot of super kicks going back and forth.
The first elimination was Becky getting Tamina to tap out, to disarm her.
Yeah, she had put it on. I think both of them at least once or twice. Before finally getting Tamina to tap out.
Well, she was left alone in the ring with her. So.
Yeah. And then very shortly after, Lana has the same treatment. Mm-hmm. And then immediately after that, Natalya comes in and rolls up Becky.
Yeah. So I kind of, at this point, was like, Charlotte's going to win.
Yeah, I had the same thought.
Yeah.
So the two of them actually go back and forth for a bit.
Yeah.
And then Charlotte goes for a moonsault, and Natalya gets the knees up, and then gently places her in the corner, or at least it looked that way. I think it was meant to look like she was throwing her into the corner, and that's enough to pin Charlotte. Apparently,
so two shows in a row that Charlotte has lost clean.
Yeah,
I mean it's not the end of the world, but the fact that they built her up to be the biggest, acquisition during the Superstar shakeup.
And they mentioned it on several occasions during the match, or at least JBL did.
No, I don't listen to when he talks. Okay. Actually, to be fair.
Well, I guess that's one thing that I noticed that you didn't notice.
Yeah.
So how? Anyway,
I was trying to watch the match, that's why.
You can do both.
So the attention span.
Here's my, because there's positives and negatives going on here. They made such a big deal about the 4 horsewomen.
Yeah.
And it's good because they are good. But they kind of feel like they should be on top no matter what.
Right.
But at the same time, you need to develop an undercard.
Yes.
And
just hit snooze.
I don't know what that means. Anyway, so it's good that they're developing other people and making it look like it's not just the 4 of them.
Right.
So while it might be unexpected that Natalya is now the number 1 contender, it's good for the division if you don't have 2 people running roughshod on the entire thing.
Yeah, but the only problem with that is, what are you just going to focus on Naomi and Natalya now? Because, I mean, they've only been getting 1 segment per SmackDown.
There's a good chance that could change.
Yeah.
You never know. So, like I said, SmackDown's very unpredictable in terms of how they flow their shows. So, because some of their segments are way too long for the amount of time that they have.
Absolutely.
So if they could just cut down on some of the stupider or more stupid stuff, like cut down on the world title time. Not
the
necessarily
anti-American rhetoric.
It
that
doesn't
they just
need
keep
to be that.
spewing.
You don't need full 15-minute promos every
No.
single week.
No.
You literally could do every other week with a 10-minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's funny because
It makes watching easier too.
yeah, well,
'Cause,
it's more digestible when you have shorter segments.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, like, SmackDown is like shorter, and it's perceived to have less talent, but they have so much talent that they can't even fit everybody. But Raw is like the opposite, where they just feel like they don't have enough, even though they have more people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you would expect more 6-man tags than that on SmackDown, where they're just trying to get everybody in.
So, but hopefully they get to some kind of point where they figure things out. Maybe start implementing more tag teams using the mid card.
Yeah.
As opposed, like they used to do in the Attitude Era.
Right.
There was so many times when they just teamed two people together randomly.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's you have to be a tag team to be in the tag
Pretty
team
much.
division. So
Yeah.
the only case that recently where that wasn't the case was Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. Because I think they're the only ones who like actually went for a title.
Yeah, but they were still singles wrestlers.
Yes. So they need to start doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Speaking of Kevin Owens,
Sure.
he was up next facing AJ Styles for the U.S. title.
Yeah.
So Owens was telling a good story here that
he was very
he is
desperate.
a desperate man. Which
wanted his title back.
I mean, come on, how can you be the face of America without the U.S. champion?
It's true. I love Kevin Owens' acting in this match, where he kept on screaming, "That's my title!
Oh, yeah.
That's my title!" And that was 3
Yeah,
every time he got a 2 count. But yeah, he always does cool stuff like that because it's Kevin Owens. He knows what he's doing.
He does.
But yeah, like we said, Owens seemed very desperate. He wanted to try to choke the life out of AJ. A lot of those headlocks on the ground. And stuff.
Yeah. Owens was working a slower match. Well, obviously, because AJ works a quicker pace match.
Yeah, well, because he was playing to his strengths.
Yes.
Strangely enough, the finish of this match was in the form of, not the finish, but the lead up to the finish was in the form of consecutive submission moves.
Right.
Kevin Owens is not known as a submission wrestler.
Not really.
I've never seen him do that crossface before.
Yeah, you could definitely be right. I don't remember.
So AJ goes for the calf crusher. He gets reversed into the crossface.
Yep.
And then a couple more reversals happen.
Did you notice that when he put the crossface on, none of the commentary team called it the crossface?
No, they didn't. Of course not.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to call. They're not allowed.
It
to
was funny
reference
just
Chris
because I was
Benoit.
watching the G1 and it was just casually said as the crossface, and then this comes up. And
When
I was like, Wait
when
a
it
second.
happened, I said, "Oh, it's the crippler crossface." I know they couldn't say.
And
something
they get all
like
awkward
that.
and like, Kevin with a submission move on
yeah,
AJ.
Yeah, they do stuff like that sometimes, like where they're not sure exactly. How much you want to bet that Owens just did it?
Just to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He was.
It was probably supposed to be ground submission move versus the calf crusher.
On Talking Smack afterward, he made the remark about being the elite, and then did a wink, and then like the Young Bucks commented on it on Twitter. It was pretty good. And then Bray Wyatt made a post about the Young Bucks. It said they're pretty good or something like that.
Oh
and
my God, Bray!
And then everybody was speculating
disappear.
that maybe they were the ones that attacked the
Fish.
fish.
That
and
makes
police.
sense.
I was like, no, those guys.
That makes sense.
No.
Anyway, so the actual finish of this match was, I guess, AJ had Owens in a crossface.
Yeah. And then he reversed, right?
Yeah, and then they rolled to their backs, so they're both had their shoulders down.
Such a weird finish.
And at one point, Owens had thrown AJ into the referee, so the referee was dazed.
Yes. He was dazed for a while.
Yeah, and he was doing like this blinking thing where he couldn't see, I guess. So they did the spot where the two of them had their shoulders down. Obviously, this was a botch because someone was supposed to have their shoulders up.
Yeah.
Or something with the
Well,
ref.
because the camera was on AJ, and the referee was on Owens' side.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that what was supposed to happen was AJ was supposed to have one of his shoulders up. The referee only looked, but it still doesn't make any sense with Owens being on the ref's side.
I don't know.
So, but yeah, they didn't show a replay after the match like they always do.
Yeah.
So obviously
Right.
it didn't come out like they wanted it to. So some kind of botch. I'm hoping they come up with something on SmackDown. Maybe they'll do a rematch and AJ wins the title back or something.
Or we're gonna get some sort of gimmick match at SummerSlam,
That's
which would be fine
too.
yeah.
But like I said, I just hope they come up with something to make up for that crap. But
like you said, we'll probably get a rematch on SmackDown.
Yeah.
It makes the most sense.
But yeah, this was another example of a pretty good match that just got ruined by the finish.
No, again, hard for these two to put on a bad match.
It's true. They are fantastic.
Yeah.
So up next, we had a backstage segment with the Singh brothers
They were
apologizing to Jinder that they couldn't help him during the Punjabi prison match, and they'll be watching from the back.
Yes. Yep.
Wink,
weren't
wink.
hinting at anything.
Wink, wink. All right, so up next was the highly anticipated flag match between John Cena for the United States and Rusev for Bulgaria.
I couldn't give any less of a shit about this match.
Why? It's America.
Yeah, you're also not supposed to throw the flags on the ground either.
That's
true. That's disrespecting.
That is true.
I felt like this match just dragged on.
What's kind of funny is...
Like, it wasn't a bad match.
No, it wasn't.
The story was fun.
Yeah, the match was fine.
It's just couldn't care less about it.
It's funny because they played this pay-per-view as if it was going to air on the 4th of July.
Right.
Because they went all in on the patriotic thing.
The New Day had all patriotic ring gear on, right?
So it's just funny how they decided to go all in on the patriotic stuff 3 weeks after the 4th of July. But yeah,
they could have just had it on SmackDown.
They should have. That would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
But, they obviously want to put...
You could have honestly kept Cena in the U.S. title thing and just made him the guest referee or something like that. To just include him in it.
It's true. But then Rusev wouldn't have anything to do.
Yeah, no.
So another example of a top talent that doesn't have anything going on.
Fair enough. Very good.
But yeah, this match was the same as any other on a pole match where they go back and forth and one's going to get it, but then they get knocked off. And the usual, okay, while I'm going to do something, I have no energy, but the person who I just knocked out gets all his energy so he can catch up to me. So that stuff is obviously the usual wrestling nonsense stuff.
I was waiting for a Shaun of the Dead moment where the guy gets pushed onto the pole and it goes right through him.
Yeah,
it just kept
every time they were
images.
on the pedestal or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, one of them's gonna fall and they're gonna die.
I know. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was because there was a few spots where they were being held up on top of it. I'm like, this is gonna end terribly.
Because I was like, at first I thought it was a part of the structure, and then I saw Rusev move it over, and I was like, okay, well at least that's good.
Yeah. So
and he set up 2 tables, right?
Yeah,
alongside
behind the USA pedestal. So at that point, you're like, okay, someone's going through the tables, obviously, and we kind of figured it was gonna be Rusev.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah.
And then that's when Cena was able to grab the American flag and hoist it on the pole.
At one point, Rusev had Cena in the Accolade.
Yes.
And then he was done, and Rusev was about to go put it in, right? And then Cena had attacked him.
That was the first time.
Yeah.
And then the second time is actually because he put him in the Accolade on the top and between the 2 pedestals.
Right, yeah.
And Cena immediately stands up, and that's when he gets Rusev and hits him with the AA.
Yeah.
So... But
because he carried him over, right? Yeah.
So this was a pretty obvious finish, or not finish to the match, but a pretty obvious outcome to this match. Besides the tag team match, this was probably the most solid match in terms of booking and match quality.
Yeah, you kind of knew Cena was going to win.
So, but this is like you said, it should have been done on the 4th of July, but it's not the end of the world. And you gotta just hope that whatever they're doing with Cena for SummerSlam is going to be a little more interesting than a boring another evil non-American feud.
Well, unless we get Cena versus Mahal.
That's fine though, because that'll make it only one.
Yeah.
Because whoever Rusev feuds with is not going to be over that.
Yeah. Who do you think he will feud with next?
Well, if Agent,
unless they swap, he'll feud with Orton.
That's possible. Yeah, whatever.
Orton's just putting people over at this point.
It's true. Well, that's kind of been his role for a few years now.
Yeah. Doesn't
The
make
only
sense
one he wouldn't do
otherwise.
it for was Bray Wyatt.
Oh man.
Anyway,
No, that's Finn Balor's job now.
apparently. So up next, we had another episode of the Fashion X-Files.
Yes. They
And
had
this
the whole
is-
intro this time,
this
right?
is
Or did
gonna
they
be-
do it last time?
No, they did it this time.
Yeah.
This is going to be where they finally figure out who was the one who trashed their office.
Mhm.
And then, so it opens up, and they're going on about how, like, this is going to be the final episode of
Mhm.
their journey or
Yep.
whatever. And then,
All of a sudden, the Ascension shows up.
they show up.
Well, you see their silhouette
Yes.
off to the side, and then they show up, and they were like, "Yeah, it was us." And I'm like, really?
Which
And
is
then-
funny because they kind of just admitted it without them asking.
Yeah, and then he was like, "Wait a second. No, you weren't on SmackDown last week. You were at, what was it, Eddie Money? Or
Eddie
something?"
Money.
Yeah.
We weren't at any money.
I want to go back and I wonder if the dates were actually.
Probably. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised.
Sometimes their continuity isn't very good, but
Yes, but other times they are surprisingly
Yeah.
good at it. So yeah, that was pretty good
Mhm.
because you don't even think about the Ascension not being on SmackDown. So, so it's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
So after that, the Ascension leave,
yeah,
and then the lights go out,
Yep.
and Breeze is knocked out up against the desk or whatever,
Mhm.
and then the lights go out again, I think, and
Yeah.
then Fandango
Fandango.
gets attacked
Yeah.
and dragged away.
Yeah.
So we're still under the impression that it's the Wyatts, right?
Yeah, I would assume so. I mean, a lot of people are saying it's the club.
I don't think so, just based off the fact that, like, there's been no reason to believe they're leaving
Yeah,
Raw.
I know.
So I think the club
That'll
thing,
leave 3 tag teams on Raw, pretty much.
yeah, and
4 with Rhino and Heath Slater.
yeah, and they don't really count.
They gotta keep main event.
It's true. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
Up next, we had the rematch from this past week of SmackDown between Mike Kanellis and Sami Zayn.
that man has some ring gear.
Oh, it's fantastic. And now they have matching jackets, too.
Yes.
So good.
Maria was wearing much more appropriate attire this time.
Yeah.
Instead of wearing that dress that goes like up to.
Oh, yeah. Every time she got in and out of the ring,
Yeah.
you're like, whoa.
So
Yeah, so basically, this was the identical match from SmackDown, except Sami won this time.
yeah, I was gonna say if you watch the SmackDown match, you watch the same exact match except for the outcome changed. Maria came into the ring when Sami was going for the exploder suplex.
Mhm.
She eventually leaves, I guess, and then he hits it, and then he hits the hula kick, and that was
That's
the end
it.
of the match.
That was it.
So there's not a whole lot going on
No.
with that.
I mean, I guess this was placed the right spot on the card.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
you always need a buffer match
Mhm.
between the main event.
I have no problem with the fact
No.
that went on second to last.
Yeah,
It's probably the most fitting.
I would agree.
All right, so up next was our main event.
Yes.
Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal in a Punjabi prison match.
Yeah. Yeah. Thought it was a decent match overall.
I thought it was quite good
Yeah.
for what it was. That's for
Absolutely.
sure.
Granted, I haven't personally watched,
Me neither.
The match.
I didn't know the rules.
but looking at the participants in the previous ones, no reason really to want to watch it.
It's true. Anything with the Great Khali is not particularly interesting, except for when he got eliminated in the Royal Rumble by getting kissed by Beth Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the most entertaining
Yeah.
thing he did in the WWE.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting where you had 60 seconds, and if you couldn't get out of that one door
Right.
within a minute, then it's locked for good. Meaning that if you get trapped in there, you have to climb out.
Yeah, no, it was a pretty cool.
Yeah. So it was a lot of Jinder asking for the door to open and Randy stopping him from going through.
Well, he did the first 2 doors, and
Yeah.
then Randy had asked for the third one, and
Yeah,
then
I think Jinder asked for the fourth one. So
and Randy got out first, right?
no, Jinder did.
Oh, okay.
What
and then
happened was
Randy came out after.
Yeah, so what happened was Jinder was going for the fourth door, and then the Singh brothers come out from underneath the ring. They pull him out just
That's-
as the timer is
That's
going
right. Okay. Yes. Yes.
going towards 0. So Randy gets stuck inside the middle in the ring, and Jinder's on the outside with the Singh brothers. Randy very quickly.
Jinder had gotten hit with an RKO just before this.
Yes, and they dragged him out of the. Yeah. So they were both down. He dragged Jinder out. They dragged Jinder out.
Yeah. At this point, they're trying to get him up to climb out of the cage, and I think he was on maybe just a quarter of the way up.
Yeah, he was pretty much knocked out.
Yeah.
And very groggy. Randy gets up, climbs to the top of the interior cage. Yeah. Jumps from the interior cage to the outside.
He didn't really jump.
Okay.
There was enough room to get across.
Yeah, he could very easily step across, which he did.
Later on in the match, you could easily tell that Randy could have squeezed through the.
I was gonna bring that up later. Yeah. So he basically gets past Jinder from jumping or climbing from the middle to the outside. So the two of them
fighting up top.
Yeah, fight a little bit. Then they both go down.
Well, they started gradually going down and then ended up falling off.
Yes, because you got to make sure that you take the safe bumps. So at that point, I think
this match really started getting good once they got out of the first part. Not even just in terms of the match, but the fact that it was hard to.
It was very hard to see. I would imagine it's a nightmare if you were there
live. Absolutely.
So
because somebody had mentioned that talking about doing like an overhead view of it, like in the arena, maybe
that would be a lot easier.
Yeah.
For the like you said, for the live audience, because you could just watch the screen.
Right.
So, but after they both fell off the outside cage, the Singh brothers were trying to encourage Jinder. He grabs a kendo stick, starts beating up Randy Orton. Randy Orton fights back. He grabs the kendo stick himself, attacks everybody, I think. And then he goes to climb up over by the announce table.
Yeah, you could see they panned to the announce table for a second. It was like, somebody's gone through the announce table. So, I didn't realize how close to the audience they actually were.
Very, apparently. Yeah. Well, that thing's big.
It was like up against the rail, the guardrail.
So
not really rail.
They have one of the Singh brothers climb outside of the cage, the outside cage, and then climb up to stop Randy.
You went through, right?
Yeah, he went through. So at this point in time, you can see the size of the squares. Like everybody in this match could fit through there.
Yes.
There was no one who couldn't. So it's just funny that they made a big deal about going over.
I think some pieces had something between.
Yes, but there was only a few of them.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of them where you could very easily, all of them could squeeze through because Jinder and Randy are both very skinny. So it's just funny that they made a big deal about that. So he goes up, meets Orton, tries to stop Orton. Orton knocks him off. He goes to the announce table. Very, very cool looking.
Yeah. Hey, you know what's funny is that Singh brother is always the one that gets the worst of the two. I feel like he's always...
that sounds about right, yeah.
The one that kind of looks like Carl Anderson a little bit.
I think it was Samir. They kept on saying his name, so it kind of popped into my head.
Makes sense.
So at that point, it's Randy, Jinder, and the other Singh brother inside the cage.
Right. And the other Singh brother started pulling him down at this point, right? Because I think Jinder was down.
Yeah.
And then this one, Randy had grabbed a chair, right?
Yeah, well,
he went to grab a kendo stick, but he realized it was broken.
And then he grabbed the chair.
And then he hit the other Singh brother, and then he went after Jinder.
Yeah, so he beat them both down with the chairs. And at this point, Randy is visibly cut open everywhere.
Yeah,
he's got a few on his back, a huge one on his right arm, I think.
Yep.
And he's selling his shoulder because that's what he was supposed to be working on.
Yeah, in the beginning of the match, right? He was working on it.
Yeah. So Randy gets them both down with the chair. Then he starts climbing up the outside cage near the entrance. And at this point, Jinder's music starts playing again. So I'm like, did he sneak through the holes? Or did he climb very quickly?
Did he burrow underneath?
Did they just not show the finish of the match on accident? I don't know. So and it takes a little while. And it has Jinder's music and his Titantron. And then all of a sudden, the Great Khali comes out. And I'm like, no. I'm like, why? So... like, it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it's like, why would you do that? Yeah. He is in no shape to be doing anything.
No.
So he comes down and he climbs up a little bit.
He doesn't look much different than he did look.
No, he doesn't. But he was never in good shape to do it. He could barely walk.
Mm-hmm.
So he climbs up a little bit to try to thwart Randy.
He starts grabbing the cage and shaking it.
That's what he did to get Randy to go down a little bit. And then he grabbed Randy.
Started choking
him. He was choking him. And at that point, Jinder was able to climb up, start yelling at Randy for some reason, and then
he stood next to him and started yelling at him.
And then Khali's going, "Go! I can't stay here all night."
They only paid me for 45 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then Jinder goes up and over, and he retains the championship.
Yeah.
So he went from not having anyone to help him to having several people help him. So
definitely not the finish I would have expected.
It's true. Like we said, this is pretty good match, all things considered. I think the fact that the Great Khali got dragged into this is what soured me on the most.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because of how ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
Because there has been no indication that there's even a possible return for him. You know what I mean? There's no reason for him to be around. No. This is 100% a publicity thing.
Unless... Oh, yeah, for India. Yeah,
he's not going to be wrestling.
No, he may just be there for a couple shows or something like that.
Like I said, they haven't really given an indication whether or not he's going to stick around.
No idea.
But, whatever.
Yeah, so overall, wrestling good, not storylines.
Booking and story progression, not good.
Yes, that is it.
Yeah.
So, this has been our Battleground review.
Yes. If you liked what you saw here, please like, share, and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.